It's so quiet and peaceful here. It would be unfortunate if an RCF, a catless RCF, happens to cold start right now. Good morning to the people who live around me. I probably woke you guys up with that cold start. I have the RCF in the front, and behind the RCF, I have a 300ZX turbo. The interesting thing about the 300ZX turbo is, you guys probably can't see it, but that car is for sale. And before I show you guys the 300ZX, I'm gonna just turn this car off because, you know, RCFs are getting stolen like scat packs. Make sure this thing turns off. I don't want this car, turn the wiper on. I don't want this car stolen now. Now, this car just suddenly popped up out of nowhere, and as you guys can see, it is for sale. I'm gonna just walk around real quick. It does have a cracked side marker. Paint is pretty good on this car for how old it is, but if you guys are interested, that's the number. Now, if I had extra funds to spare, would I probably buy it? Probably not, because I do want other cars that I'm interested in. All right, guys, I'll show you guys the car. And the last thing I'm gonna show you guys, and the reason why this will be the last thing I'm gonna show you guys about this car, is because most of you guys will be like, fuck no, after I show you guys this. Unfortunately, it is automatic. So yeah, so if you guys are interested, right, it's not stick shift, so yeah, but it is automatic. Sheesh, this car looks so clean, but it's low-key filthy because in the last video I drove the car in the rain, and you guys know what happens when you drive in the rain in a black car. But I would get a car wash today, but looking up at the clouds, that would probably be a dumb idea. So I am not going to wash this car today. It's going to stay filthy. I'm gonna show you guys how filthy this thing is. Bruh. Yep, you guys see it, it's so filthy. But anyways, guys, today we are actually going to talk about whether or not getting an exhaust for this car is actually worth it, or for any F car in general. I do have to hit the gym, so first of all, we are going to head over to the, over to the gas station first, right? Such a place to be if you own a V8, right? I left hand sanitizer in the other car. Well, I'm playing. That's disgusting. Do not do that. guys, you guys know what time it is. It's time to lock in. Alright guys, so should you get an exhaust for the Lexus RCF or for any F car or for any car in general? The obvious answer is yes. Definitely modify any stock exhaust, especially if you are looking to modify a car or any car in general. When it comes to exhaust, a lot of people go different routes. Some people get muffler leads, some people just get a resonator elite, some people get a full catback and headers. But anyways guys, these cars are really interesting. So from factory, these cars come with a really quiet and restrictive exhaust. When I first got this car, I really wanted to hear the sound, and actually I was about to sell this car because it was so silent. Obviously I was looking for a way to change that, so my first thought was maybe getting rid of the muffler and keeping the rest of the exhaust stock. Now there's a problem with that, and the problem is the stock exhaust, as I said before, is extremely restrictive all the way up to the headers. Like, it's, man, this car wasn't breathing with the stock exhaust. So if I only got rid of the mufflers, right, that would kind of, yes, it would allow some airflow, but there would still be a lot of restriction when it comes to the headers, and obviously because of the cats and whatnot. So guys, I had to make a decision. I had to make a choice. Should I just get a muffler elite and save a ton of money, or should I just get a full catback exhaust? A lot of you guys probably know the answer, and the answer is I went with the full catback exhaust. Currently, I am running the NVIDIA Q300, and this is a specific reason why I chose the NVIDIA exhaust over any other exhaust. And the reason why the NVIDIA exhaust stood out to me is because of the price, and also because out of the exhausts that I have searched through or looked at, the NVIDIA exhaust actually had the largest pipe in diameter. The bigger, the better, you feel me? And the thicker, the quicker. There we go. The thicker, the quicker, because, you know, more airflow. But obviously, since it's an RCF, it could only be so fast, unfortunately. Well, pretty much, right? The NVIDIA exhaust had a 70mm diameter, and that translates to 2.75 inches, almost 3 inches. That shit thick, right? But other exhausts I noticed only had 2.5 or 2.7. And yeah, so pretty much the NVIDIA, shoot, you know, like, I picked it. I also am running my PPE unequal length headers, and that definitely frees up a lot of airflow from the engine all throughout the exhaust, because the OEM cats on this car are extremely restrictive also. So essentially guys, what I'm saying is, if you want to gain a tiny bit of power and if you want your car to feel more alive, definitely get a full exhaust rather than a muffler elite. Now, getting rid of your muffler, I'm gonna be honest, still makes this car sound phenomenal. It's actually kind of hard to make this car sound like crap in my opinion. With only getting rid of your muffler, I feel like you are getting more sound than performance gains. With an exhaust, regardless of whether you don't have your mufflers anymore, or regardless of whether you purchased a full exhaust, these cars still sound really great, especially when you hit that rev limiter. Damn, like, no one ever expects that from a Toyota, right? Nobody, except the folks who really know what Toyotas can do. And the cool thing is, only getting a muffler elite on these cars could probably cost you between, I would say, $300 to $400. I'm just going based on the pricing in the past, being that it's 2024, inflation might have affected those prices, right? So you're paying $300 to $400 for your F car or your Lexus car to really sound really good. And in my opinion, that is not a bad price at all. Now guys, the other option on the other hand is to pay over $5,000 in order to have like a full-fledged exhaust from the headers all the way to the, I'm trying to walk as fast as possible, all the way to the rear. The NVIDIA catback exhaust itself, I think I'm just going off the top of my head. The NVIDIA exhaust I paid, I believe, $1,400. The PPE unequal length headers, I think I paid, shoot, I gotta look at those receipts real quick, hold on. And in regards to the PPE headers, I paid about $2,508 for the headers alone. Oh my gosh, never again. And if you do the math, headers plus the catback plus the cost of installation, which is almost like another rack, that's about, that's pretty much like a little bit over 5K. Now, that 5K brings you amazing sounds, and also it brings you about, I want to say, maybe 50 horsepower, like 50 wheel horsepower. And there's a lot of different exhaust setups for this car. For example, right, some people get PPE equal length headers, which actually makes this car sound more like an exotic car than a V8. The PPE unequal length headers actually makes this car sound like a Mustang, according to some people, and it makes it sound like more like an American V8. I chose to get the PPE unequal length headers because I don't know the money glitch in life as of yet. But once I find that out, then you guys will definitely be seeing me with maybe some crazy thing on this car. And also because the PPE equal length headers definitely cost a bit more than the unequal length headers, but they both provide the same amount of power, just giving you slightly different sound. Now, of course, there are perks to having a full exhaust, including the headers, right? The perks are you're practically halfway there to supercharging the car. In order to supercharge the car, you do need an exhaust, and you definitely need the headers along with the tune. And of course, since money doesn't grow on trees, right, you do have a couple of options for exhaust for these cars. I would say every single catback for this exhaust has a comma. Now, if you don't feel like spending money on a catback, I would advise to get yourself an axleback, which pretty much like also changes the sound of the car. Axlebacks probably won't have a comma in the price, but catbacks will definitely have a comma in the price. Now, if you're just trying to be on a budget, that's totally understandable. And another option you could do is just get rid of the muffler or just get rid of the resonator. Getting rid of the resonator could actually cost between $100 to $200. And as I said before, getting rid of the muffler could cost between $300 to $400. I would advise that route for people who are not really looking for a lot of power, but are just looking for more sound. Now, a lot of you guys, most of you guys have probably heard clips of this car every single time, but this is for the folks who are new. So if you are new, I'm gonna just show you guys how a full catback exhaust with unequal length PPE headers sound. And I'm gonna do that with my trusty GoPro right here.